Pilgrim's Progress, Chapter 1. This is the children's version, by the way. As I went through the wild waste of this world, I came to a place where there was a den, and I lay down in it to sleep. While I slept, I had a dream, and lo, I saw a man who was dressed in rags. He stood with his face turned away from his own house, and he had a book in his hand and a great bundle on his back. I saw him read from the pages of a book, and as he read, he wept and shook with fear. Then he broke out with a loud cry and said, "What shall I do to be saved?" In this condition, he went home, and as long as he could, he kept quiet. He did not want his wife and children to see how troubled he was, but finally he told them what he was on his mind. "Oh, my dear wife, and you, my children," he said, "I am full of woe, for I am carrying a heavy burden, and more than this, I have been told that our town will be destroyed with fire, in which all of us shall be lost, if no way is found to save us." Does it sound familiar, California? Now it's introducing friends. All who heard this sad tale were amazed, not because they thought that the man was, not that they thought that what the man said was true, but because they had fears that something was wrong with him, with his mind. They said that sleep might soothe his brain, and with all haste they got him to bed. When the morning broke, they asked him how he did. He told them worse and worse, and he started talking once more the way he had before, but they would not listen. By and by to drive off his fit, they spoke harsh words to him. At times they would laugh, and at times they would scoff, and sometimes they would ignore him. So he went to his room and to pray for them, and as well as to think over his problem. He would go into the woods to read and think, and thus for some weeks he spent his time. Introducing Evangelist. Now I saw in my dream that one day, while he was walking in the fields with his book in his hand, he gave a groan. He felt as if a cloud were on his soul, and he burst out again and said, who will save me?" I saw, too, that he gave wild looks this way and that, as if he wanted to run away, yet... Here's a picture.
I think it's too pixelized to see.
It's okay. We'll wait for the phone to be turned off. We done? Ready to go, son? Okay. He stood still, for he could not tell which way to go. At last, a man whose name was Evangelist came up to him and said, "Why dost thou weep?" Introducing fear. He said, Sir, I see by this book in my hand that I was to die, and that then God will judge me. Sir, I am afraid to die. Evangelist said, Why do you fear to die, since this life is so full of sadness? The man said, I am afraid that I shall be punished, and that this burden on my back will make me sink down into the lake of fire. If this be the case, said Evangelist, why do you stand still? But the man said, I know not where to go. Introducing the scroll. The evangelist gave him a scroll with these words on it: Flee from the wrath to come. When the man read it, he said, Which way must I flee? Evangelist held out his hand to point to a gate in the wide field and said, Do you see the wicket gate? It's like a basket, a woven basket style.
The wicker gate.
It doesn't say wicker. It says E.T. at the end. It's an old-timey book, okay? The man said, No. Do you see that light? He then said, I think I do. Keep that light in your eye, said Evangelist, and you go straight up to it, and then you shall see the gate. Knock at the gate, and it shall be told you what you are to do. Then I saw in my dream that Christian, for that was his name, began to run. And then it says, thinking it through. What was Christian's burden? And you two can answer that. One of you can answer that.
His burden was he knew that the world was, that his village was going to die,
Burn
or
from fire.
burn.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Zachariah?
Zach's shy.
No, he's going to
shy.
answer.
Cameraman.
Nope. Nope.
Zach's camera shy.
What are the burdens of a Christian? What keeps you alive?
Persecution.
Persecution, yeah. Yes, that's definitely one. I can think of one, unforgiveness. Right? Can you think of one now, Daniel? Along the lines of forgiveness, persecution and unforgiveness. What's another one?
Forsaken.
Yes. Okay. Here we go. How did he know about his burden? What made him knew he had a burden?
The book.
Yes. You agree, Zach? What question did Christian ask? What is the answer of Christian's question? What was his question in this chapter?
Where shall we go?
No, it was who shall
Save him.
That's right. He wanted to know who would save him from the fire come, right? And the lake of fire. And then what is the answer, Zechariah? What is the answer?
I have no idea.
Can I answer?
Zach's going to have to try.
No, thank you.
How do you get saved? Who will save you, actually? I'm sorry.
Jesus.
There you
There we go.
Or What's the Hebrew name?
Yeshua
Yes.
Or
Yeshua Ha
Yahweh.
Massiah.
or Yahweh.
Or Yahweh. But Yeshua Ha Massiah is Yahweh is the name for the Father. But Yeshua Ha Massiah gave his blood in a blood sacrifice, was buried, and rose again in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
And rose to be with his Father in heaven. And forever gives prayer, supplication for us. Okay, for number 4. What man helped Christian? What did he tell Christian? What was the man's name?